In the meantime, 4 years ago, Caleb Sharpe opened fire on his classmates at Freeman High School. He killed one student and wounded 3 others. And that dark day changed the lives of hundreds of students, teachers, and parents.
The gunman pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including first-degree murder and second-degree assault. Before his sentencing, the judge ordered him to hear multiple victim impact statements from those affected by the shooting. And today, after years of delay, sentencing for the shooter began. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has followed this story since 2017 and was in the courtroom today for the beginning of this final chapter. She shares what we should expect in the next week.
This morning, attorneys gave opening statements to the judge for the Freeman High School shooter's sentencing. The defense says a 20-year sentence would be appropriate due to the shooter's age and lack of maturity at the time of the school shooting. However, the state is asking for a minimum of 35 years. In September 2017, 15-year-old Caleb Sharpe opened fire on his Freeman High School classmates. He killed one student and seriously injured 3 freshman girls. He pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including first-degree murder and second-degree assault. The shooter's defense attorney says when determining his sentence, the judge must consider mitigating factors of youth, which include his age and mental capacity. They argue that because of the shooter's youthfulness at the time of the shooting, he is deserving of a lesser punishment.
You will hear that Caleb Sharpe was an immature 15-year-old, that he had neurocognitive disorders, and his youthfulness should be the basis to find him less culpable for his criminal conduct.
The defense told the judge various experts and even the shooter's family will give testimony over the next several days. And while the defense says he has the capacity for rehabilitation, the state argues against this.
He still exhibits a lack of remorse and true understanding of what he did.
After nearly 5 years of delays on this case, it is finally nearing the end. The judge is expected to make a decision on the shooter's sentence by next Friday. Reporting from the Spokane County Courthouse, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
And also today, the defense team called in a forensic psychiatrist who has worked with Caleb Sharpe for the last 4 years. He says a developmental disorder, mental health issues, and access to guns created the perfect storm. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is outside the courthouse.
That psychiatrist says at the time of the shooting, Caleb Sharpe wasn't just immature, his age was more consistent with that of an 11 or 12-year-old with a learning disability. Dr. Richard Alder says Sharpe had a handful of undiagnosed neurological and mental disorders and suffered prenatal asphyxia during birth, which is a lack of blood and airflow to an infant. He showed the court an MRI scan of the shooter's brain, which he says is abnormal compared to teens his age. This is really what the defense has focused in on as they asked the judge for a shorter prison sentence of 20 years. They believe the court should focus on the teen's rehabilitation and that these disorders played a role in the shooting.
He had a neurodevelopmental disorder that was undiagnosed. He had a learning disorder, and he was not making good progress academically, which is not a good thing for a young person. Most sad of all is that he had access to guns, even though adults knew he had access to guns. And it is the combination, not merely his youthfulness. It's that combination that I think, taken all together, brought us here today.
Prosecutors are seeking a minimum 35-year sentence and argue that not every 15-year-old boy with a brain disorder decides to shoot their classmates. For the first time today, we saw Sharpe's mom and dad in court. They sat behind their son and are expected to testify next week. Sentencing continues Monday and is expected to wrap up by next week. From the Spokane County Courthouse, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.